tell us a little bit more about Actidad and how you're changing the lives of fathers worldwide.
Sure. Well, Actidad is a media production company that is focused on creating digital content designed for dads, right? And the content is specifically designed to basically to educate, inspire, and support dads to just enjoy life, because being a dad is not always easy. I really wanted to create a quality production, um, probably for kind of the same reason you started the Fit Dad lifestyle, Leroy. And by the way, thank you. You are one of the OGs of the Act Dad. I think you were following when I was Alpha Dad Fit,
Yeah,
way
right.
back in the day. Well, about
Yeah.
a year and a half ago. But yeah, so I think there's a few reasons why I started Actidad. First of which was, I feel like in this day and age, you absolutely must be creating digital content. I think that if you're not creating digital content in 2020, you're making a massive mistake. So I want to start creating digital content. And I tried some different things. And when I started working on this Actidad project, I started getting a lot of positive feedback. So I started leaning in more. And secondly, I really wanted to start a show. Um, and that's how the Awesome Dad Show was born. And the Awesome Dad Show has just been tremendous for me. I've gotten to interview NFL Super Bowl champions, presidential candidates, doctors, mega influencers. It's just been so rewarding, and not just because it's really cool to meet these people, but because after every interview I do, Leroy, I walk away with little tidbits of knowledge that help me to be a better father. So it's been very rewarding. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, mate, and I must commend you and congratulate you on the success because I see all these interviews that you have with all your different guests, mate, and it's just going strength to strength with the caliber and quality of the guests that you've had on that. So, I look forward to seeing your countdowns and who's going to be the next guest and this and that. So, it's exciting to watch your journey from, like you said, about 18 months ago when we both got into this whole realm, and then to where it is now. So.
Appreciate that.
Mate, tell the audience a little bit about your journey through fatherhood, how many kids you've got, and where you're currently located.
Sure. I live in South Florida. I've been married for just over 5 years, been with my wife for over a decade, so a long time. We've got a 3.5-year-old daughter and a 9-month-old son. They're a lot of fun. We have a ton of fun. Kind of like you. I just love getting outside with them, moving, biking, running, swimming, jumping, climbing. I just love being active. And that's kind of what Actidad is all about. It's about a body in motion stays in motion, right? Just keep it moving. If you don't move it, you lose it. And that's kind of how I live my life. I just feel like, Leroy, there's so many amazing things to experience, and you just got to get outside. You got to get outside and enjoy it. And it's been a real blessing. It's not always easy being a dad, right? I think before our interview started here, you're like, yeah, my kids were in here and they messed up all my microphone settings. It's kind of like, every step you take forward, you take 2 steps back when you've got a kid, because they're just walking behind you, just destroying everything.
Oh, mate, 100%. And yeah, it actually had to put my old Apple iPhone earphones into a podcast the other day because I could not work out the microphone. It was something to do with my actual headphones that was stuffing up the whole process. And I'm like, oh, the kids just come in here and they put them on and they pretend, they just imitate absolutely everything we do. And they see dad doing a podcast and all of a sudden they're sitting here and they're talking to the screen. No one's even on there, but it's the same when we're in the gym or at, like you said, the pool or adventures or this and that. And it's amazing to see. And here's a good story, and I think you'll enjoy this. I was sitting in my office the other day, which my office is about 5 meters away from the lounge room, and I hear my son Harry, and he's talking. He's going, "Hi, my name's Harry, and and today I'm going to do push-ups and this and that." I'm like, "What is he doing?" Like, there's no one else in the house. It was just me and him. And I walk around the corner, and he's got his phone up against the wall, and he's got the video on there, and he's vlogging his push-up
Right.
video, and I'm like. I just stood there and I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, and he's like, yeah, Dad, I just want to do what you're doing because we've been, vlogging quite a bit lately. And he goes, and then he's telling everyone about, and I had this for dinner and now I'm going to get big muscles. And I'm going like, and it was just so cute, how they just, take that sort of stuff and run. So,
Yeah, you got to make sure you're setting the right example. I mean, My wife always blames me because when my daughter starts burping, she looks at me and she's like, "You taught her this." I'm like, "Sorry, sorry. That's how it goes." But that's, I mean, I think that's what's really cool about what you do, Leroy. I love all the body weight stuff, getting your kids outside, putting them on your shoulders, getting that shoulder time in, hiking up a mountain with them on your back. I think that's a really great way to connect with your kids, and I think you see it manifesting itself when he's upstairs blogging while he's doing push-ups. I think it's really great.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that, we've sort of grown into. We've always had gyms and we've always been, I guess, very active family. So the kids have been brought up in that environment. But, even recently, like we started a 60-day challenge on the 1st of January to be very, um, I guess, what's the word? In line with everyone else, 1st of January sort of 60-day challenge, and
Mhm.
we're documenting the whole thing. And ever since we started on that 1st of Jan, the kids have been, Dad, can we go outside and do a workout? Dad, can we go out here? Dad, can we do this? And because we've got the garage, we've got a little gym set up in there and all the equipment and all that from the different businesses.
Yep.
And honestly, it gets to a point where now it's about 6 times a day. Dad, can we go do some pull-ups? Or Dad, can we go do? And it's like you're starting to get to the point where you'll always go out there and be like, Jesus Christ, how many times do your kids want to, work out per day? You're starting to outdo me. It's usually me saying, let's go do something. And now it's you boys saying, come on, let's go out the shed.
Hey, man,
And
it's good. It's good. Well, because one of the biggest challenge that we have as fathers is time. At
yeah,
this phase of life, you're being pulled in so many different directions. And one of the things that was really important to me starting off was that I want to make sure that I'm dedicating quality time to my family. I don't want to subscribe to that lifestyle where I wake up at 7, I go to work, come home at 9 and go to sleep.
yeah.
I think you miss out on a lot of those key moments. So I think it's really important that you try to manufacture a lifestyle that allows you to spend that quality time.
Yeah, definitely. And is Active Dad, is that now your full-time role, or do you have another job outside of that?
Uh, Actidad is what I would call a side hustle. I by day I run an insurance agency
Okay.
here in South Florida, and then again by night or when I'm on the when I'm in the restroom or when basically any free moment I have when the kids are asleep or not with me is let's engage with the community in the Actidad Facebook group, which has been extremely powerful. On Tuesday nights, I host a conference call with the dads in the group. So dads will come in and we kind of chat about a topic, whether it's fitness or finance, relationships, whatever the topic is for the evening. Posting on Instagram, posting on TikTok, posting on Twitter, just staying very active, using your time wisely. I think is really important because, like you had said earlier, like Mark, I had to drop all these groups because I was just wasting all my time in groups. And it's so easy to get caught up in that. You got to make sure that you're using your time as wisely as possible.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one thing that I'm trying to, really consciously take an active role in getting better at. And I'm building an app at the moment for the Fit Dad lifestyle, and I'm going to have my own internal social media. And not that the world needs a social media, but more just a platform where they can go in, they can see all the different community members' stuff, um, and engage with that stuff where it's not hidden. There's no algorithms, everything's being seen. But the
Mhm.
beauty of it is, if you're going to the app, you're going there for a purpose, but you're not getting sucked into 10 different other videos on Facebook, and then
Yeah,
your year two friends video and kid's birthday party that you haven't spoke to in 10 years, but all of a sudden you're looking at your friend's comments, and 3 hours later you're wondering what you're doing in the first place. So trying
sure.
to get people away from that, social media, so they can get in, see what they need to see, get out, and go live their life. I think so. Mate, it's a struggle trying to find that balance in this digitally enhanced world. It is, and I really don't know how our kids, they're going to grow up and think it's probably no different. And I guess it's probably for us having that previous life, I guess to about 18, 20 years old, where we didn't have that, social media. Um, we can see the difference, but our kids, I don't know what that's going to look like for them in
Well,
about 10.
well, yeah. I mean, who knows what the world looks like in 10 years? We're probably gonna have like flying cars and
Yeah.
avatars walking around. But I think it's all about balance and perspective to a certain extent. I was watching a podcast the other day, or watching a YouTube video the other day, where Larry King, he's walking around with his flip phone. He's like, I don't need anything more because I can call people on this. But I think what Larry King is failing to realize, sorry to call you out here, Larry, is that you can do a lot of other things with your phone too. It's your GPS, right? It's your camera. It just does so many different things. It has so much practicality. And I don't ever want to be the old man on the porch saying you kids don't understand, right? So I just think by just being practical and staying, just trying to keep up with the youngsters, if you would, is what's important to me.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
just being relevant with my kids, just spending that quality time, having fun.
Yeah. And mate, obviously working full time, and then you got this humongous side hustle going on the side, then family life, fatherhood. How do you manage your time? Is everything by a schedule, or is it just sort of taking it as it comes? Yeah, I think you mentioned every Tuesday night is your, go live with the crew on in the group, but is everything scheduled around that?
Well, yeah. So I definitely have some scheduling in place. I'm a little bit more loose than I think some people are as far as my schedule goes. Like, this interview is a little bit on impromptu. We were planning on doing it tomorrow night. We said, let's just knock it out now. We've got a few minutes each. But schedule's important. Using the proper types of apps. I use Calendly, which is very convenient for scheduling with people. Um, Not wasting time, like deciding what's practical. What do you want? What are your goals? So much less TV. You know, I found that if I got the TV running in the background, I'm far less efficient. So I just turn it off completely most of the time. The other thing that I've been looking into is a virtual assistant, someone who can help me with some of the mundane stuff, right? So things like just reaching out to guests can be very time consuming. So if I can hire someone to do that, that's going to take a lot off my plate. Maybe when we chat in a year, I can give you more information, because I'm literally in the process of screening and finding someone. That's been one of my big projects today. The other thing, again, is just trying to delegate tasks. We were driving to meet with a talent agent earlier today, and I just had my wife drive. It was a 45-minute drive, and I was able to just engage with the community, make a few posts, and just being as practical as you can with your time. I didn't feel like it. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drive. I'd rather just drive.
Yeah.
But I think that whatever your goal is, whether it's to be more fit or create a side hustle, whatever your goal is, you're going to you're going to have to make some sacrifices to reach that goal, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's just not going to fall into your lap. But I think that if you execute hard work, if you're open to constructive criticism, I think that you can find the right thing for you
Yeah,
to be
definitely.
successful.
Yeah. And how do you fit your personal fitness into the whole grand scheme of things with everything you're going on? And how often a week do you keep yourself, fit and active?
Well, I'll tell you what, Leroy, it's a struggle. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. And to be honest with me, it varies a bit. So most of my exercise is body weight or running is what I like to do. I'm big into running. I like to run. I've run half marathons, 10Ks, 5Ks. Still got my eyes on the full marathon. But like a couple weeks ago, we went on vacation, went to Disney World. A lot of fun. It was great. We walked thousands and thousands of steps and hundreds of dozens of miles. But when I got back, I was way behind on work. So I said, you know what? I'm going to have to sacrifice my exercise so I can catch up on my interviews and so on and so forth. And I hated to do it. I just didn't really see any other way. But the other great thing that you can do is trying to incorporate your kids into what you're doing, just like you do. On this past weekend, Sunday morning, I didn't really feel like waking up early, but I said, you know what? We're going to sign up for a run. Got my daughter up at 5:30 in the morning. We ran a 5K together, and it was a lot of fun. I actually streamed the entire thing on the Act Dad Instagram page. The entire
Yeah,
thing was
right.
being streamed, and it was really cool. I had the stroller there, and then the last quarter mile, I was like, I'm gonna put on some Pandora and listen to some music. And I got knocked with copyright infringement, and they deleted
Lost the whole thing.
the whole thing, man.
Oh
I was
no.
so I was so I was so frustrated because it was really kind of cool. I'm like cutting in and out of people. There's people like slowpoke, and they like see this stroller just whiz right by them. just crushing it. And a few people popped in during the live stream, but you
Yep.
know, now it's gone. It's gone forever because of that Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
Yeah, right. No good at all. That would have been amazing content just to see, that journey with the daughter and
That's what I try to do, particularly with the Instagram, is just try to give people a slice of life, right?
yeah,
Just try to inspire people. The other show that I do is the interview show, and that's on YouTube. That's a podcast, the Act Dad Awesome Dad Show, which is more of interviewing these experts and these interesting people to hear their stories and find out what works for them.
yeah. And what drives you to continue making Active Ad, the success it is today and the vision for what it is in the future?
Well, I think there's a few things, but I'm enjoying the process. I feel like just consistently challenging yourself and overcoming those challenges is absolutely vital to your own contentment. I was sitting with my grandfather about a year and a half ago. I was sitting with my grandfather. He's sitting there. He takes out this old notepad with these old newspaper articles. He's in his old red recliner, and I'm sitting next to him. And he takes out his takes it out. And he starts opening up these old newspaper articles, and he was just kind of walking me through his life. And here's where I was teaching high school basketball, and this is the basketball camp that I went to, and this was my old home, and here's the orange tree. And I'm just kind of looking at this and I'm soaking it all in, right? He's basically just telling me his life story. And I'm thinking to myself, one day I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be doing this with my grandkids. How do I want my story to look? What does my story want to look like? And I decided that the path I was on wasn't the story I wanted to tell. And the switch flipped, and I just started making changes. I started challenging myself day after day after day. And it's really incredible, Leroy, what happens when you just try to be a little bit better each day, just a little bit better, just a hair better each day, because it starts to change things exponentially, at least for me.
Yeah, 100%, mate. No, I completely agree with that, and it's funny. I had similar sort of things, with my grandfather about 5 years ago before he passed away, and it sort of really put a perspective on
Yeah.
the future. And it was just before we had our first son, but just the stuff that you spoke about and the memories that you had just really changed that outlook. So
I think the key that where everything kind of flipped for me was being comfortable with discomfort. You consistently want to be uncomfortable. You want to be uncomfortable all the time. Like if you're just sitting there lifting the bar on the bench press, you're never going to gain any strength because you're not getting discomfort. You've got to push yourself. You got to get sore. You got to sweat. You've got to get to feel that pain, because next time you're going to be a little bit stronger and a little bit stronger. And I think when you apply that mentality to various places in your life, it starts to manifest itself in ways that you don't even know, that you can't even foresee. And that's when things start to get exciting. But it's a process. It's a process. And most people can't do it. Most people can't. You got to set yourself apart, you know?
yeah. And what advice, mate, would you have for any new fathers out there, or even fathers in general, about what you've experienced in fatherhood thus far for your own personal experience, but also what you've learned out of coaching, interacting, and engaging with thousands of fathers from around the world?
Well, there's a lot of different things. One of the questions I like to ask on my show is, what is the most important characteristic of a great father, right? What's the most important characteristic? And I've gotten some really interesting answers. The one that I think is most important is patience. Is patience. I think that's the most important thing. You're going to go into fatherhood thinking it's one thing, and it's going to every day it's going to throw you for a loop, right? Like you're taking a nap on the couch and your kid comes up, says I love you, and sneezes in your face, right? Like this is going to happen. This is going to happen, right? Your kid's going to pee on the ground for no reason. They're going to wake you up in the middle of the night. This type of stuff happens. And you have to go into fatherhood realizing that it's not all going to be playing at the playground or going to Disney World. There are going to be moments like that. And it's very easy to get angry, to get hot, and to yell. But I think patience is probably the most important. And don't get down on yourself if you slip up. There have absolutely been times where I've lost it and not hit my kid, but I'll yell and be like, just stop it. Then I take a step back and I realize all my kid has been wanting to do is play with me. They just want my attention. Like I'm eating dinner the other day. My daughter just keeps coming up to me over and over and over again, just like pulling on my leg. I'm like, Addie, just let me finish my dinner, please. 5 minutes. All she wanted to do was play. That's it. And so I got down to her level, took a knee and said, listen, I love you. Give me 5 minutes. Let me finish my meal. And I think it's important that you get down to their level and kind of explain yourself and communicate. I think kids are very perhaps more perceptive than we think. So taking a minute, taking a step back, and just trying to execute patience. I think it's a really important characteristic of an awesome dad.
Yeah, no, mate, I think you've hit the nail on the head, and there's a lot of fathers out there that would be able to take that advice and run with it and apply it to their own
For
journey.
sure. And don't get
So
again, don't get down on yourself if you slip up. That's normal. That's part of it. That's part of it.
yeah,
That's part of it. And being part of a
100%.
community like the Acted Dad Facebook group, the Fit Dad Lifestyle community will really help, because when you slip up, you can talk with other community members, people that are in the same boat, that want the same things, that have the same goals. Be part of a community that cares. That's the other. I think that's, Leroy, probably one of the other big challenges about becoming a new father is all the things that you used to do, or a lot of things you used to do, a lot of the people you used to hang out with. It's going to be much harder to spend that time going out bowling or playing darts at the bar or going hunting with your buddies on the weekend. It's just going to be harder to do that because you have all these other responsibilities. So trying to make sure you're surrounding yourself with like-minded men, I think is really important.
Yeah, 100%. Mate, you're spot on. Everything you just said then is on the money, and I couldn't agree more. So, mate, before I upload this podcast and obviously blast it out to my community to get over to the Active Dad community and help strengthen their journey through fatherhood, where can people find you online? What events or what activities do you have coming up in the future?
Sure. Well, you can see just about everything I'm doing at www.actidad.com. It's ACTIDAD, Actidad. And that kind of is a hub of information. Every Monday, I launch a new podcast episode, a new audio experience with a new awesome dad, a new guest, whether, again, it's an NFL pro athlete, doctor, expert, industry, um, influencer, just a lot of really, this past weekend, I interviewed Exploding Unicorn. He's got just over 1 million followers on Twitter, and he's hilarious. He's absolutely hilarious. So every Monday, fresh episode. I upload a new YouTube video weekly. The Facebook community is amazing. It's really, really positive. I've been in a lot of Facebook groups just like you. And the Acted Dad group feels different. It's much more positive. It's much more engaging. And I'm really hoping to keep it that way. It's still relatively small with about 1,500 people, but I really believe in growing it slowly with a strong base. And that's really paying off. It's really paying off.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, growing it slowly, because I think ours is just under 3,000 now, but I reckon I've denied 3,000 people just as
Mm-hmm.
much as I've
Mm-hmm.
come in, because we have set, some questions before they come in, and, they're either trying to sell some pyramid scheme down someone's throat. So that's an instant,
Yeah.
delete, because they don't understand. You can see their profile, you can see their work, you can see everything on the application. And, you know,
Right.
you click the application, it's like, I helped ads lose 30 pounds in 3 weeks. And it's like, decline. Like, you're not coming in here to spruik your stuff just to try and get a quick client and then, get
Right.
out of it. So,
Right. Just come in and just DM everyone in your group. It's not a
exactly.
good look. Yeah.
No, and then it just tarnishes, the brand and brings everyone down, because it's such a, much like yours, such a positive, spam-free environment where dads can feel comfortable being themselves and, get that support that they need from other people. And You know, it only takes that one person coming in, which we have had a few infiltrate the system and get in, that they sort of get reported straight away because everyone in the group's on the same page. You know, if they see something that is a bit out of the ordinary or not necessarily, you know, seen before, there's about 100 people that would instantly report it, and I'll
Yeah.
just block it. You know, unless I'm
Yeah.
asleep, there's a good chance it doesn't get through the cracks. So
Really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you and the Fit Dad lifestyle community, Leroy. I really respect what you're doing. And again, I've been following you on Instagram since I've been on Instagram. And I just have a huge passion for personal fitness and spending quality time. So I love that. I love what you're doing there, man. Very nice. Very
awesome,
great.
awesome, mate. Very kind. Thank you. All right, mate. Well, you go enjoy your day, and yeah, we'll get this up and running as soon as possible, and let the community get involved in the whole active dad lifestyle.